Yeah, we're live now on YouTube. This is Scott Stimson with International Computer Solutions, and this is the San Carlos Computer Club. We meet every Tuesday at 10. So far, it's been virtual meetings since I've been back in Alaska doing the bed and breakfast. My wife is milling around in the back making silly faces. She's YouTube famous. At least 4 people that will see. But welcome, one and all. If you did not get a link to the document I created, it is slightly bigger than a typical because I had to cancel last week. Sorry for that. We had made plans to go out to a lake with friends and totally forgot what day it was when we were making those plans. And it was just not possible to try and attend a meeting while there. I've just dropped a link to this document in our chat if any of you need it close by. As usual, this document starts out with some reoccurring themes. The bed and breakfast in full swing, the Bill of Digital Rights, the smartphones for dummies, which is included in each one of these documents, and the reasons why we don't like these particular VPNs. These are persistent topics. I may end up finally moving them down to the bottom of the document where I have reoccurring themes. After that, I brought more than a half of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seven news items. Some stuff left over from before, and some stuff that didn't make it last week that we can go through. But as always, I enjoy hearing what you guys are dealing with and what questions you might have, news or stories you'd like to share. So if anybody out there has something, please feel free to mention it. Not all at once, though. I can't keep track of all that at once. It's too much.
I'm busy reading your document.
All right.
That's interesting. What is wrong? Okay, I'll ask. What's wrong with a Reddit account?
With a Reddit account.
Yeah.
Do I have that written down here somewhere, or is this something aside from that?
No, something that you've got written in your
Verification.
fourth from or second from the bottom.
U.S. visa. Oh yeah. Now this is interesting just to keep track of. This is an article where they are talking to somebody that was supposed to be coming into the United States under one of their visas, what is it? F1 visa. F1, is that student? I think that's. And apparently, it has been for a while. You're supposed to make your stuff public, so that all your social medias public, so that they can be reviewed by your, what is it called, your visa interviewist. And he did. He made it public, but then they asked for his username and password. Asked for his password, so they could actually be deep in the system, and he refused that, and so they refused his visa. This is one of those where it's like you just have to give them all, or they're going to deny you. The ordinance is that they need to, for lack of a better word, because I don't exist in this world of applying for understanding. But the way I understand it is that, well, in fact, here's a quote right here. My concern is that my account seemed private to her while it was already public. What if it's a technical issue that reoccurs while she's checking my handle, which may lead to ultimate denial? If you read through this, she says the account was not visible while Well, it was an open account, and at the end of the interview, it issued me a 2021 slip requesting that I make all my social media handles public. So while they were in the interview, she was saying she couldn't read her Reddit account. That doesn't make sense because it's public. You should be able to read everything that's there. And then issued her a slip to make everything, all her social media, public. And uh, she didn't, and was denied her visa. Yeah, these are student visas. So she was coming to go to school. So in this case, I'm sorry, I didn't read this since last week, but I'm remembering now. In this case, what's concerning is that she could be, or you could be, rejected because of a misinterpretation of what's going on with the social media account. There could be a glitch that caused you to lose your visa. Is that Jim? Good morning. We were just looking over the U.S. visa refused after applicant failed to share a Reddit account, which is the second from the bottom of my list of stuff. And so, if you weren't aware, if you are um, asking for a visa from the United States, in fact, in this article it says since 2019, they have required applicants to make their social medias publicly available. And in this interview, they accused her of not having it public, and she was denied. I'm sorry, I'm refreshing my memory here. Order will allow thorough vetting of the. It adds that U.S. visas are a privilege, not a right. Ah, yeah. It says that she did not list her Reddit account on her social media and was told that it wasn't visible, even though it is open to be seen. So that's what she's getting at. She's basically gotten caught in two different problems. One is she forgot to mention her Reddit account, and then when they asked about it, they couldn't see it, even though she thought that it was publicly available. It had been publicly. When she went back to it, it was publicly available. I saw on the news somebody else that was trying to come in for something. I think it was feet. And they had their booking, they had their plane ticket, they had their accommodations, and they were denied their visa that they applied for. Cancel all their plans. I think this is in that similar vein of just people don't know what's going on, and at any moment they can use a pile of things to stop you from traveling. I've seen recently a number. In fact, I got a little dismayed because our tourism is down right now. I'm sorry, I'm making gestures. Our tourism is down right now, and so I've been intentionally going out and looking for just something that kind of reins in the climate right now because it's just so far off for us. Our bookings are so far off from what we're accustomed to. And I came across a couple of different presentations on YouTube that are just collections of empty airports and people from foreign interlaced with people from foreign countries explaining why they're not going to the United States. And I have to say, I don't have one international tourist that, well, unless you count a Canadian booking, but there aren't Canadians, and there aren't people from Europe that are staying with the United States bucks. Fred, I don't know if my color has added anything to what you were reading, but I can only imagine that if we are making it so difficult to get a tourist visa or a student visa, that we'll see reciprocating behavior from other countries.
I wonder how that'll work with boats.
With boats, yeah,
I know, I know.
we felt so fortunate to be able to just fly over to Paris without even asking or looking for any kind, and then to take a side trip over to Italy without any concerns of organizing that with any governments. And I just can't help but imagine that if we continue on the path we're going, uh, the United States might be singled out in each one of these countries. It may not be as easy
I
for us.
know when we went to Australia and New Zealand, we had to get a visa for each one of those. We had to get a visa for Egypt also, and I think we had to get one for Dubai.
Well, it seems like it wasn't so long ago where anywhere you would go in Europe, you'd have to get a visa. If you wanted to cross the border to another country, you'd have to get a visa, being
Yeah,
a
I lived
foreigner.
over there
What's
in
that?
that time. I lived over there in that time
Oh yeah,
uh,
as an American.
as an American. I was a GI.
Yeah. Feels like feels like a rolling back that's happening.
Yep. Oh, I was going to tell you. I saw something very interesting on YouTube, and I can't tell you exactly where to find it, but they had four formula cars or pseudo formula cars anyway, racing on the track at Dubai, fully controlled by AI. With
Oh
uh,
wow, that sounds cool.
they, know, uh, the race was 8 laps long, and it took them over 2 hours to do 8 laps. And I think the track is a total of 3 point something miles, if that tells you anything.
Oh wow.
So about 25 miles long. And
I don't know if
but
I've mentioned it. I have a friend that's really gotten into the virtual racing, which is an e-sport that people are paying a lot of attention to. Spends a number of his free hours driving a race car, a virtual race car from his office, from his home office. He's got big screens and kind of a cockpit kind of shell that he's doing this stuff from, and they take it very seriously. I think he might be sad to learn that his sport might. I mean, could you imagine AIs, robots running real cars around a track? That sounds really appealing to spectators. Isn't it? I mean, don't you watch the races for the crashes? I mean, if nobody crashes, it's not very interesting. With
they,
AIs, you can have as many crashes as you want without endangering people's lives.
well, they've gotten pretty good with safety on formula cars anyway. I've
Yeah,
seen some crashes at 200 miles an hour that the guy got up and walked off.
and walk away from.
Yeah.
Well, it also has a little bit. I mean, like when you talk about this topic, it makes me think of my buddy that's racing virtual cars. But it also makes me think of those robot wars, the robot battles, battle bots. I never spent much time watching that, but I'm very aware of them. Is where people build robots specifically to do battle with other robots, they're like these really rigged up RC cars. Uh, so they've got people controlling these autonomous cars to as competition, like cage matches between these RC vehicles. I don't know. Those are all my thoughts on such a topic, but that's very interesting. If I would imagine AI fully automated driving on a track like that may be an easier algorithm than in the midst of a city with construction, pedestrians, and all these different variables to account. Seems like a track would be a fairly simple thing to account for, and driver behavior, driver reaction. Seems like that's in our world that might be an infinite number of different things, but I bet there is actually a list that's fairly easy to put together from a computer's perspective, all the possibilities.
Well, then initially they took them around with the safety car, I think, for 4 laps, so they could learn the track.
Oh,
Uh,
that's interesting. So that gives you the impression that the AI had no previous information about the track.
that's correct. That's what I understood.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So anyway,
Yeah, and I'm sad to say I don't have any AI topics this meeting, whereas we've had meetings where the whole meeting was AI. You have brought the only AI topic to the meeting. I
guilty.
I thought the one that would be really popular would be the first one, this implantable device for diabetes patients. This I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this, but this is MIT announcing technology that allows them to implant a device that would allow a dosage to come out of it. In the article, you read that they could have it as 1 or 4. I am not a diabetic, but those of you that have dealt with this probably are familiar with um, glucagon. Glucagon, am I saying that right? Glucagon? You'd ask the AI to read it. And apparently, this is life saving when you're hyperglycemic, when you're going into dangerous levels. And so, diabetics are aware of this, and they're giving themselves injections. They're being responsible with their hyperglycemia. But this could be an emergency. I looked at it kind of like an EpiPen for people that have an allergic reaction to be kind of and that probably could be an alternate use for such a thing. We've had such dangerous, um, um, such dangerous allergies that this is a device that is stimulated by a sensor, which could be wireless or programmed for conditions. So you could either hit it yourself, or your body could just send the right signal to hit it, and dose yourself with glucon to fix your problem. Yeah, Chester, I see your hand up. What's up? Good
Well, I
morning.
think I don't have diabetes, but if I did, I would be most interested in what Musk has been trying to reveal and has apparently got into trouble with all of the major drug companies that he has a person with the number 2 diabetes being able to cure themselves in 17 days with some kind of a honey formula.
Oh,
And Musk
really?
has had to leave the country in order to avoid the problems that he's having from the drug companies. So if I were diabetic, that's what I would be looking at very carefully.
I'm doing a Google search on this right now because I've never heard of it. Publicly endorsed the this is the AI talking to me. Elon Musk has publicly endorsed the use of prescription weight loss drugs. GlycoBoost. And you say with honey.
Yes, I think it takes 17 days or something like that. Um, I've seen it referred to several times.
Oh,
That,
I hate to burst your bubble here, Chester, but this is saying scammers use AI generated videos on Facebook to falsely claim Elon Musk has discovered a diabetes.
and who published that?
Well, there's three: Times of India, Engadget, The Verge. The Verge is the one that I think is the most creditable source here. Contrary to what Facebook ad scams are promoting via deepfake videos of Fox News personalities, Musk hasn't discovered one simple trick to reverse the blood article.
Well, like I say, I've not pursued it because I'm not diabetic. But,
Sure. Sure, but what a perfect example of things that we need to pay attention to. In fact, the Verge quotes this as celeb bait scams, which make me immediately think of unproven supplements and fraudsters. Oh, and this is in reference to the Engadget article. Diabetes. What they're saying is even this, if you're looking at my screen, this that looks like it's a Fox News feed, all of this is ginned up by AI. Which inadvertently is a great topic on this, our list.
also, let me comment on you were talking about AI and racing. Elon Musk was fined by the U.S. government, I think, $234 million for a fatality that he incurred with one of his Tesla self-driving cars. And I don't know the basis of such a major uh, fine, but it was quite significant uh, when you really think about it.
No, I agree. I didn't take the time to look at what caused them to choose to blame the car. It seems like there's ample evidence to to blame the conditions, but they definitely felt that Tesla needed to settle as well.
But on the other hand, the board of directors for Tesla has awarded Musk, I think it is $23 billion worth of stock on the basis of what is going to happen happen to the stock from the self-driving technology and from the AI that he's investing in. They just outright gave him $23 billion worth of stock, not options, stock.
Right. I, isn't his stock value having dropped ridiculously?
Yeah, it's dropped about 50%.
So this makes up for his losses.
I don't think it makes up for his losses, but it's certainly a substantial amount of money.
Yep.
When you think about not 23 million, 23 billion with a B. That is one hell of a compensation package.
I'm a simple guy. You get up into millions, I can't comprehend it. Yeah, I don't know what to think about any of that. But the diabetes cure does not appear to be real. However, this
And
implant. Oh, go ahead.
actually, it was 29 billion, not 23 billion, which is a absurd amount.
And,
I could
and
be
it's
wrong.
Tesla.
It could be 29 billion. I saw it yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, but I can't mentally bring it forward. It was a bunch.
Well, yeah, Reuters has a headline here, says Tesla approves share award worth $29 billion to CEO Musk. And then the Wall Street Journal, well, that was 23 hours ago. The Wall Street Journal saying 23.7.
Yeah. That's
CNBC
where I got
saying
my number.
29. There's a lot of 29 here. But yeah, 23, 29. What's the difference to me?
What's a billion or two?
Right? Well, to me, what does that matter? He's still got more power than God in my world. And Yahoo Finance is saying 30 billion. YouTube Forbes says nearly 30 billion in stock. What's the stock at right?
I don't know, but I don't follow it daily because I don't own any of it and don't want to. But it was down about 50% about a month ago, and I have not followed it or heard or read much about it since then.
That's pretty wild. Now, I mean, Chester, if you were a shareholder and watched your stock prices dropping so dramatically, specifically, and it's specifically related to his political positioning, would you approve them giving options like this, or the stocks to him like this, or anyone like that, any particular? Let's take
I would
Tesla
think
out
it
of
would
it.
depend on what my cost was in that stock and how much profit or lack thereof that I was currently enjoying or not enjoying. Um, and if the directors believe that the technology that they are pursuing is of such magnitude, then I may be very happy for him to have that type of compensation. Like I say, it all depends.
Well, and I'm thinking very specifically of this situation where the stock prices have dropped specifically because of his public behavior.
I don't think it's dropped because of his public behavior. It's dropped because of the competition that Tesla is having, and the fact that they're losing the federal government subsidy for EVs in the United States market.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, then I guess we have different interpretations of why the stock is dropped.
I don't really have an interpretation except what I read from time to time uh, about the fact that the problem between Trump and Musk has to do with the government subsidy, and more so than anything else.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's absolutely what I've seen as well, but I thought I was watching stock prices dive when he got involved in politics.
Well, there was some of that, yes, because there was a lot of the public did not like the fact that he was uh, working with Trump on anything, leave alone trying to reduce our debt. And frankly, I'm very upset with what I've been hearing recently that Trump is planning on taking the funds that he collects from the tariffs and distributing it to the citizens instead of paying on debt. That really is disturbing.
Well, sounds like he's
That's kind of like
just
that's
trying to
kind of
make
like
people happy with him.
yeah. Well, I am too, but they're not on everything, and this is one. The other one is some of his tax forgiveness for overtime and tax forgiveness um, for particularly for overtime, but also for tips. I I don't think it's necessary to forgive seniors from being taxed on Social Security because I know I pay that tax. I pay my tax on my Social Security, and I don't mind doing that, but I don't need to have it eliminated. I don't want it to be eliminated, but of course it has been.
Well, I'm afraid that's an area that I don't really have any comment on. I'm not there yet. Feels like the way things are going, I may never be there. It might
Well,
be
80,
there's a day
85% of
coming
my
when I
Social
wished I had
Security gets
Social Security to be taxed on.
85% of my Social Security gets taxed.
Yeah. But what you're saying is you're fine with that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
What I'm not fine with is having that tax eliminated and not using that tax to pay the debt down. The debt's going to eventually bankrupt us.
Well, I don't think anybody's disagreeing with you.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think there are only two outcomes.
If they,
One is massive inflation in order to minimize the cost of the debt. The other is bankruptcy. I don't see any other solution to the debt problems in the United States. And the same thing may be true with the Canadians. You'll have to comment on that.
if they'd eliminate the upper limit on the Social Security, we wouldn't have any problem at all.
So Fred, I got no idea what you're talking about. Can you expand on that?
Okay, all of us pay Social Security when we're working up to, I think it's $128,000. After you get to $128,000, and that's a figure way back in my mind. Anyway, but after you get to that upper point, you don't pay Social Security. So if you're making $1 million, you pay the same as somebody's making 128,000. If they took the upper limit off of that, you
I
know,
hear what you're saying. What you're saying is there's a limit on how much you can pay into Social Security. If that limit was gone, there would be more funds for Social Security.
well, the limit was put into effect back in the 70s
Oh,
again.
there's always been a limit. No,
Yeah,
there's always been a limit. They've just increased it over the years.
yeah, I think it
Uh,
was the 70s was the last time it was increased. Well, back in the 70s, I was making, 125,000 a year, you know,
But
and
but you only had to pay Social Security up to that limit.
up to that limit. Yeah. Yeah, I never made it in all of my career. I never made it up to the limit, so I paid every time. I always saw the 7% come out of my check.
I've, as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the best investments I ever made was Social Security. And I have every dime that I've invested through the years, and it's made a tremendous return on that investment.
That's really interesting. I really don't know much in this area, but it almost sounds like that needs to be flipped upside down. The limit should be on when you start paying Social Security, not when you stop paying it.
That's true. No, I was paying Social Security when I was making $1 an hour.
Right? I've paid Social every time I've had a job, I've paid Social Security at whatever rate I was getting paid.
Yeah,
I definitely was poor enough at times it would have been better to have those few dollars in my pocket.
Well, not for me. Uh, it's been a tremendous bargain for me.
now it's a bargain,
Yeah.
but at the time, you know, again, when I first went in the army, I was making $87 a month, and they took Social Security out. So how do you fight that?
Yeah, it almost seems like that should be all upside down. It should be like until you're making 20,000 a year or 30,000 a year, you're not responsible for Social Security. And after that, everyone's responsible for it.
Well, the same problem with Social Security has to do with pensions and why all the companies are eliminating pensions from their benefit programs is the fact that your benefits are based upon inflated income, where your investment or the cost to pay for that is uninflated or before inflation. And it's inflation that has killed Social Security as well as pensions in most companies.
Well, we are deep in areas that I can barely comment on. So I'd like us to get back to some tech topics. And you're forcing me to go out and find some Financial Time podcasts to listen to. Hey, good morning, Pop. Welcome.
Good morning. Just woke up. Sorry.
No worries. So
I'm having to leave you now.
Okay. Bye, Mom. So, have you showed up with a topic, Pop? Oh, pardon me. Have you showed up with a topic this morning?
No, I haven't, Scott. Thank
Okay.
you for asking.
Jim, we haven't had a chance to ask you. Do you have any topics this morning? And you're muted. Oh, there you go. Oh, you're muted there. Oh, wow. Not only were you muted, we still can't hear you. Or I can't hear you. There's no indicator that you're talking either. I mean, there's no indicator that you've muted, but there should be a little ball with dialogue there, not showing that you're talking. Oh, I heard something there for a second. Talk.
Does that change anything?
Yes.
Don't understand it. Okay. I've been out a lot, as you know, over the last 4 months. You probably already talked about this, but if so, let me know. I would like to know how to cast from my cell phone to a television. And I
Oh,
don't know how to do that.
that's a great topic. And what makes it great is it's still so inconsistent. To give you an example, I have an iPhone, and casting to a Fire Stick is a bit complicated. And actually, I don't do it because the easy solution is to buy an app to do it, and then the app solution is kind of a crummy solution. Now, what you can do, I'll continue with my experience with my iPhone on a Fire Stick. You can cast to YouTube, without a problem. When you have the same YouTube account in your phone as you have on your Fire Stick, then you can authorize casting, which is more like a remote control than it is. I mean, it is, the experience is more like you're telling the Fire Stick YouTube app to play the YouTube videos you want played than it is coming off of your phone and going to the Fire Stick. This is also an experience you can have with Netflix. You can start Netflix on your phone. You can cast it to the Netflix app on your Fire Stick, but again, it's more like a remote control than it is actually taking content off of your phone and putting it on the Fire Stick. Now, the newest televisions, I would say probably know consistently for the last 5 years have included a casting for AirPlay for iPhone. Specifically, Samsungs have done this religiously. So if you've got a Samsung TV set from the last 5 years, there's a very good chance that it pops up on your iPhone under casting, and all you have to do is select it, and there may be a code that's presented on the TV or the phone for you to put in to make that connection. And this is literally casting the screen from your phone onto that device. And a lot of screens are doing this. Also, if you have an Apple TV, that's a no-brainer. That's just available to your iPhone. There is as many confusions on the Android side of things. If you have an Android phone, there's a very good chance it'll cast right over to a Fire TV, a Fire Stick. They're both based on the Android operating system, and it's offered up to you as an option using the Microsoft standard Miracast. And so what you look for in a device is for it to be AirPlay compatible, AirPlay 2, I think it's version 2, compatible, or Miracast for Android devices. When it's Miracast, and you may have seen this on your Windows computers, you can connect to a wireless display. We've done it there in our meetings, our in-person meetings, where you can connect to a wireless display, and that display will appear as one of the screens that you connect to, and you can cycle over to it like a mirrored. What's on your computer is on that display, or an extended display. That's what we've done in the in-person meeting. And it essentially, the Miracast replaces a cable. Like you'd connect up. Fred, are you giving us a presentation?
Yeah, this is on YouTube. And this is under settings on YouTube. And it has a link TV to phone, link with Wi-Fi, link with TV code, link devices.
This is on the YouTube app.
Yes.
So on the YouTube app, you can authorize your device to be allowed to cast to it.
Yes.
And after that, then it's just a matter of choosing the cast icon in the YouTube app. When you go to the YouTube app, or many of these apps, like Netflix, there should be if there is a device that you can cast to, they normally present you with an icon that allows you to choose that device to go to. So Jim, if you're looking at an app on your phone that has the potential of casting and everything's set up correctly, then those devices will appear in that link, in that option.
I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm not following.
It's because it's a convoluted topic. First of all, I got to start with it is not straightforward. It is, we are really close, but it's still not straightforward. And you are either, let me see, you're either casting with a mindset the same as if you'd had connected a video cable. And that's easiest, that framing is easiest understood from a laptop, not necessarily from your cell phone. But when you think about wirelessly displaying, you either are controlling an app in that display,
Right.
or you're using that display in a manner that's similar to connecting a cable to it. Those are the two different ways that we get things on an external display from a device. It either behaves like you've connected a cable to it and now that's your new display. Everything that was on that device should appear on that display.
Right.
Or that display has access to applications that your device also has access to, and your device is telling that content to go over to the application on that display.
Okay.
Is that clear? I mean, it's clear as mud.
I think it's pretty clear. Okay.
And so then, knowing that those are the two different ways that you're broadcasting from your device to the display, you've got to work within those constraints. So either it's like a virtual cable displaying everything, or it's an application compatible with the application that you have on your device, and the contents from that application can be told to go over to that display. So YouTube and Netflix, those are good examples of applications that you would be signed into on your mobile device as well as on your display. And because you're signed into both those devices, then that display is available as an alternate place to watch the content. You start it up on your phone, and you're like, I'd rather see this on the big screen in front of me. And because you're signed into both of them, you can tell it to go over to the big screen. You start watching an episode on Netflix, and now the TV's yours because your wife's done with her show, and you can just choose to cast it over to the Netflix on your display. And now that episode picks up where you left off on your phone, and now it's on the big display. YouTube, very similar experience. You're watching clips on YouTube. The display is now available to you because your family's done with it, and you can choose that display. There's an icon in the YouTube app. If I remember right, it's like at the top. And you click on that, and it presents your TV set. It presents your display, and you're able to hit that, and and that content moves over to the YouTube app that's on your display.
Once you've done that, can you then say go into your photographs and cast your photo album up?
So the YouTube and Netflix example are examples of singular purpose casting.
Okay.
So one won't lead to the other. Neither
Right.
of these will lead to what you're trying to do. And what you're trying to do could be accomplished if your photo app has a casting ability and recognizes that some app on your display, or you're able to display your entire contents like a cable, like a virtual cable connected to your device. And that virtual cable experience is based on your device, on both devices, supporting the display device. In my Fire Stick example, it doesn't support Apple AirPlay out of the box. You have to purchase an app that will allow you to do that. And in my experience, it's been a crummy experience. It would almost be better to own a device like an Apple TV, if that was your end goal, or one of these more modern Samsung TVs. There's definitely and you know what? I've talked about these Roku TVs that we have around the bed and breakfast for about the last 3 or 4 years, and they're recognized by AirPlay. And so it's not, it doesn't have to be Samsung, but there are a number of TVs out there that support Apple's standard for casting right out of the box. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. There's no app to install. It's really the older devices or these devices that are absolutely not going to be compatible without a third-party app that would restrict. I mean, it's in my household. It's a little frustrating because our Samsung and our Fire Stick TV both support casting from the Android phones in our lives, but they don't support casting from the iPhones in our lives. Even our older Android devices cast just fine. Our newer iPhones do not on these devices that we have. But if I were to replace my Samsung TV with a newer Samsung TV, it out of the box I'd be able to cast the iPhone to it.
Huh. Okay.
So yeah, in your circumstances, if your goal is to get from your iPhone to a display, and the displays in your life do not support it, it would almost be easier for you to find a device that does support it and just be in the habit of connecting that, so that that's the device you're using to cast to.
Yep. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
buy an
Chester.
Apple.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. Didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's all right. That's got it. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yes, Chester.
Yeah, I've attended most of these meetings, and I don't recall any discussion of what they call Superbox.
Superbox. I haven't heard that term before.
Superbox is a device that allows you to get all 10,000 stations, TV stations.
Oh. So it's like IPTV?
It's probably illegal as hell to do that, but the box itself is not illegal.
I haven't heard anything about a Superbox. I'm going to put it on a list here.
Why don't you Google it and see what it tells you?
I will. Superbox. I haven't heard. Oh. Superbox. Here, you guys can join me on my Google box. Experience ultra smooth, high res entertainment, powerful TV box. Turn your
The
TV.
call's ending in less than a minute.
Oh, we should switch over to the other code here. Thank you for that. I'm going to start that up. You ready? I'm going to drop the code in. Code. Yeah. People are already. All right. Chester, Fred, Jim, you guys are real quick. Where's Pop? I don't know if he's got that link at his. Superbox. Oh, this is fun. It's AI overview of the question: is Superbox illegal? Itself is not illegal to own or use. However, the legality of the content accessed through it can be questionable. While the hardware is not inherently illegal, the way it's often used to access copyrighted material without proper licensing is where the legal issues rise. It's an, oh, this is nice. It's an Android-based TV box that allows you to install apps and content. You know, this Superbox is not unlike many of these Android TV boxes that are out there. Yeah, in fact, these S6 chips. This S6 Monarch is used for a number of different products of the same style. And it really is the ability to install your own apps, like we've used Kodi and Streamio. And if you are somebody that's used a Fire Stick for those things, this is way too much money to pay for one. Oh, does it come as a 2 keyboard remotes, 2 travel cases? It's still too much to pay. A box that would do, well, I don't know. Maybe they've got, you hear me arguing with myself. Maybe, yeah, that is the price of it.
Oh, the Amazon price is right at $290 something.
Yeah, what I'd like to see, where is the breakdown? I want to see the processor and RAM. I think that they're selling the idea more than they're selling the hardware. That's the only. Well, if it supports 6K, if that's above the industry standard. Still don't see the breakdown. I wonder if Jim.
Maybe that's something we can hold for next week.
See how easy. Yeah, I'll put it on the list. Maybe we'll readdress it next. I'm just curious because there is such a market of these devices. Yeah, in fact, these actually aren't Cortex. Yeah, there's nothing special about these boxes. And so what might be special is they may have a presentation. Let's look at it more for next week because maybe they've got something like an interface that makes it really easy for people, but these, as we're looking just offhand, we're looking at this breakdown of their product line and the stats. Android 12 to Android 9, 32 gigabytes of storage to 16 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigabytes to 2 gigabytes. These are all very standard, and they've been very standard for a couple of years now in style boxes. And these boxes you can pick up for easily under $100. $60 to $80 is a pretty standard price for this stuff. So the premium that they're adding to it, I can't help but think is a lot of marketing, but maybe there's some software package on top of it that they can justify that kind. Maybe there's a real easy interface to use or links into content that you don't have to think about or do any real configurations with. They got to have something they're selling that adds $140 to what you're doing. I mean, I call it the no-name Chinese knockoff streaming box. In fact, I probably could bring one up real quick on Amazon. Oh, and they are more abundant in Mexico. but let's check. This is those are they're all the sponsored. Those are nuts. I wonder if that's prices. It's crazy. I'm just I now I got to satisfy my own curiosity. Oh, Dad. All right. That's the same makeup. Even that's more money than I. Dollars. Now this is they're saying 4K, 700 pages. And this right there that we're this on is an Android based device or a Google TV device that would do those same functions. Here's a 4 gig 32 8K, so they say 700 pages. That's like $35 versus $290. That looks like fun. Look at all those USB. When many of these you can slip a card into storage. Wanted to store movies. Yeah, this one right here. This is 4 gigs, 64 gigabytes, 515 pesos. Let's go back to the American market because I may just be jaded by living in Mexico, finding these things really easy to hold of. Like I said, I own one of these knockoff streaming boxes. I've held on to it for years just because I enjoy the silliness of trying to keep it working even though it's gotten older and older. But there's a lot less of these. Well, look at that. You can get an NVIDIA Shield for less. And this is a high quality, legitimate in the American market streaming device that lots of tech people love, this NVIDIA Shield. And that's $100 less than what that super box is. I'm not, I don't know if you're watching me. I'm scrolling past Roku's and Amazon sticks because they are not offering the same kind. But here's one right here. There's one right here. 2025 Android TV box, 4 gigs, 64 gigabytes of RAM, 6K TV box, $40. Rocktech, never heard of it. $90. They're still more expensive than in the Mexican market. Still, I think I think what we're looking at with that super box, Chester, is the same thing we're looking at. It's the same kind of thing when you see these commercials on TV and they're like, your computer won't upgrade or you fix your computer in 10 minutes. And they've got a little device you plug into the side of your computer and it boots up under Linux and you can use that. I think they really are selling marketing more than anything else. They're taking advantage of being good at marketing. But the hardware they're selling you is not unique. And I expect this stuff to go up in price too. Just like my comment of tariffs, I expect this any of this not I call them knockoff devices because there isn't a big name brand. They're not an HP, Microsoft, or an Apple or any of that. These are name brands that exist for 30 seconds. But they're based on the same kind of hardware. And I think Superbox would probably be a name brand that would exist for 30 seconds if they weren't investing so much in marketing. Their name exists for us to be talking about. But I think you have a lot of options. When I look at products like that, I go, wow, $300 is a big budget. Let's go see what else I could buy for. Well, guys, we've gone over our hour. I've got lots of topics. I'm just going to keep them around because some of them are really interesting, and we didn't get to any of them. And I mean, if anybody's got a recommendation, we could shout it out now. But I think we're going to bring this meeting to an end. If I could make a recommendation, I have my wife and I have just finished watching a Netflix series called Untamed, which we found very entertaining, and we ended up binging it. It's about criminal investigations in Yosemite National Park.
We've been watching one called Longmire.
Longmire, you want to add to our list?
We've enjoyed it. Continuous 6 seasons. We like to pick those that are older because then you can watch them for a week.
Ah, yeah. Well, Untamed is completely out. The entire season from beginning to end is available on Netflix. I get nothing by recommending it, but we had a lot of fun watching it.
Your parents enjoyed it too.
Oh, you've already watched it. That's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, Longmire was good.
Yeah, Longmire is one of my favorites.
How do you spell it?
Longmire.
I got it. So Longmire is available on Paramount Plus, Apple TV.
I picked it up on Paramount. And 1923 and 1888 are coming back for their second season also.
Oh wow, this series is from 2012.
Yeah, it's 8 years, I think.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
The Ranch was good also.
The Ranch?
You talking about that comedy that has the sex offender and Ashton Kutcher in it?
Probably.
And Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I went to school with Sam Elliott.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell more.
He was a year behind me in school. He was quite an athlete. He was on track and running and so forth. And he was got involved in acting. And that was an amazing year, that particular class. They had a very good drama teacher, and so there was another woman that has been extremely successful. I'm blocking on her name right now, but she was in the same class. And then it turned out there was a group called the Kingsmen that they were the ones that came up with Louie Louie, the first
Right.
version of Louie Louie. So it was just an amazing class. Happened to be the class behind me, but they were very successful. And
Fun
Sam
memories,
started
huh,
acting.
Terry?
Yeah, Sam started acting, and then I think in college he was in a play, and it was recommended to him. But his dad was with Fish and Game. They'd moved up from Texas, and his dad died at a very young age. So Sam didn't have a father from high school on, and but his dad was just insistent that he not become an actor. Sam knew from an early age that's what he wanted to do. But what intrigues me is I was part of a group that did a lot of riding on horses and so forth in high school, and Sam wasn't part of that group. I don't even think he had a horse in high school, or did, to me, my knowledge, he wasn't very familiar with riding. But he's sure become the
Quintessential cowboy.
yeah, very good. Thanks. That's a good description for him.
Hey, Pop, I've heard your stories before. I'm curious, is it Lindsay Wagner you're trying to remember?
Yes, Lindsay Wagner was in that
Oh,
class
yeah.
too. And one of the things the drama teacher said about both of those actors was they weren't the most talented that she had in her class, but they worked harder than anybody else to be successful at what they were doing.
Terry, where was this?
It's Portland, Oregon, David Douglas High School.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
I found that thing on YouTube. It's AI racing. What a mess! And it's the world's first AI powered race. Was a big mess. And then it's A2RL, whatever A2RL is.
The world's first AI powered race was a big mess.
Yes.
So 2 weeks ago, we had the first ever autonomous motor race
In
powered
Abu Dhabi.
by AI.
All right, Jim. Oh, okay. It looks like I'm going to have to take a look at it on my own, Fred. There's other stuff in this besides the racing. I think I found some actual racing. Well, it's definitely interesting, and all that data from the way we understand AI now is all being recorded and analyzed to make it better. So there's no problems with that. Right. Hey, Fred, offhand, have you been paying attention to the Macintosh market? Okay. I thought you might have an opinion on an M4 MacBook Air at $799. I thought it sounded like a great price. Yeah. It is a 256, but still, it seems like a really decent price. Well, you're different. I'm a data hoarder. I can't get rid of any of my data. Well, look at this. I just found an article from Engadget saying pick up a MacBook Air M4, lowest all-time price. It's a 16 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte, and it's down to $799. That's an amazing price. Of course, in standard Apple parlance, you can get twice as much space for only $200 more. Yeah, it looks like the whole line has been dropped by $200. Used to be $999, used to be $1,200, $1,400, 24 gigabyte. Gosh, that's what's tempting. Is you find Apple's done such a great job of just bumping you up. It's like, well, just for another $200. On the Air, they don't have on these new Airs. That's interesting. I thought they'd gone. I know on the Pros they definitely you can put an SD because that was one of the big changes when they went to the new design. Sure. I can. I don't even think she's out of bed yet, but I'll go check. All right, Bob. I'm gonna let you both go, Fred. We'll talk next week. As far as I'm concerned, we're gonna have another meeting next Tuesday. About about an SD card reader. Yeah, I'm not seeing it in the like I'm looking at a picture right now of the ports on this, and it doesn't show a card reader on the Apple Air. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm really curious. Well, no, they aren't they showing it to me. Let me do this. I know they've put an SD card on. They brought it back. That was a big deal. There it is. Yeah, it's on the Pro. There's an SDXC card slot on the MacBook Pro. And I think it's been there since the M3. It might have been there on the M2, but it's definitely been there since. Whereas it is not offered. We were just looking at the latest MacBook Air and it was not on the Mac. Oh yeah, no, you're going up. Wow, now you're going up $600 just to put an SD card on. No, $400. Looking at comparisons in chip, RAM, storage. So we're looking at a MacBook Pro that meets all the same specs as Air except for the SD card and $400 more. I don't. Yeah. All right, guys. Until next week, check on. Talk to you later. Bye bye.